Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. You know, I keep telling you that I'm through. I've been talking and for 40 years, many periods of during these times, I'd be in jail or in prison or traveling the streets on faith, just trying to get this message to you, to deliver you. Even sought after public office several times. Um, and you named them, and I probably went after it, but I got none of them. It was all about you and waking you up, and it turned out to be a deep sleep, or I was one no count communicator. But I want to share this with you, ladies and gentlemen, because even though I'm still here coming back every now and then, I want to make it short. You know, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party got us here. They got us here where we are here in America, going through the same things that we go through in America every day, with different groups believing different things, though they might be hearing the same thing, interpreting it a different way because of the camp that they're in. Today, neither have a solution, not for the people. You know, Republican and Democrat going through all of this, and no one got a solution. It makes the people appear dumb, make them appear as if they are dry bones, all of them. But you know, ladies and gentlemen, these are the kinds of things that happen. I recall, let me see, I believe, considering how we get into this being, we try a lot of different things, whether we choose to or not. But I want to say that one of the major things that's used to keep us asleep is that the people before us and even the people today, they use the Bible because they were told it is the excuse for ignorance, for no resistance. The Bible tells you, depending on who you're listening to, if you're just reading the scripture yourself, or if someone is teaching you scripture, they always say, God is going to do it. Stand still and let God. God is going to just pray. God will wipe your tears away. Anything tells you to stand still. And then, though you might have something that says, talk about faith, and then they'll tell you, well, it's not what your works do. You go, it's all grace. So that kind of takes away if you had any motivation to do something, stand still and let God fight your battles. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, I can imagine what that has done. It does what it is doing here in America. The church, you know what the church is all about. I mean, it's different depending upon who you are, but you got people calling God on one side and on the other side calling God. And each side thinks that the other side is led by Satan. I can remember seeing some calling the angels from heaven down to come and bless their side. And I guess the others, they didn't really pray like publicly loud like that. They would kind of do a little bit secret in the closet. I guess someone was thinking if you pray loud and publicly, you had God kind of wrapped up. He had to show up, or God had to show up. Forgive me for saying he. I don't know what God is, except power. I know that God is power. But anyway, that's basically the result of what happens with scripture. Even when you try to be saved, it means doing nothing. Somebody said just try to weave your way through, dodge that sin, dodge this little thing that you don't want to touch. You don't want to be messing with that, dodge that. And weave through. And at the end of the day, if you make it through, right on with the right on. That's what they say. But anyway, it's that thinking, it's that interpretation, along with all of the others, that have us in this very spot what we're in today. Very, very spot. Let me give you an analogy. I think you might be able to equate with this that we as people do. And it's kind of in line with what I say the scripture does, what the Bible does to you. Takes away your get up and go. There's a wildebeest. I don't know if you're familiar with the wildebeest. I'm really not, but I saw one on television one day. And this wildebeest had gone thirsty, gone into a pond or break or whatever you want to call it, big enough for it to get water. And so there were other wildebeest, I think around a herd, 10, at least 5 or 6. And while one was enjoying themselves, a crocodile came up and grabbed him by the leg. Now, here this wildebeest, knowing that life is threatened, this might be the last move. So you do everything you possibly can to survive this. Everything you possibly can. You're crawling, you're pulling, and this alligator is just holding you back. This alligator's big and strong, and he's causing you pain. And at the same time, he's resisting your movement to pull you back his way. And you're hollering, you're screaming, you're saying because you got the pain. And at the same time, you want the other wildebeest right over there to come and help you. Help, help, help. And they look at it, they observe what's going on. But they can't do anything about it because their mind has restricted them and got them standing right there looking. And when they're looking at it, it almost appears as if they're saying, well, I can't go over there. If I go over there, he might bite me. I can't have that. And so they sit there and just look. And the other one is still going through pain. It seems like he's losing energy, being drugged back into the water. He's still out. But there happened to be 2 hippos over there too. So it must have been a kind of big break. And they saw this. And for some strange reason, they did not like it. So they headed over there quick. I mean, this crocodile saw that water splashing and looked over there and saw what was going on, turned that wildebeest loose and headed to try to do what he could to save himself. To save himself. Look what he was doing to this wildebeest. Now, he realized the danger, the threat that he just caused, and he didn't want it to happen to him, so he's trying to get away. Isn't that something? Trying to get away, doing some stuff you know is ugly, and you know it's ugly because you don't want it done to you. Well, one thing happened. He had to turn that wildebeest loose, and that wildebeest was glad. He had to limp on. I don't know what he said to the rest of them for not trying to come to the rescue. Maybe they understood. But anyway, what I really got out of that, ladies and gentlemen, are people. Whether it's black people, or whether it's white people, or whether it's Americans, or whether it's just all people standing over there on the sideline looking. When all of the hell and stuff is going on, when people are changing your government, robbing the people who need help the most, cutting out hotels, I mean, whatever they can think of to do to bring someone else down, that's what they're trying to do. And guess what? The people over there watching. When I guess an immigrant or something, or just a person that's coming down the street, you got guys with masks on, some of them are weaponized, and they are attacking people, running and screaming, throwing them down on the floor. The guys who are being abused don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on, and you stand there and look. That means that could be you that they just hit side the head. That could be you they just broke your arm or your wrist, throwing you down, trying to take you someplace you don't know where you're going. You can't tell your family. You just strung out there. And the people are standing over there looking. Where are the hippos in society? Where are those who just can't take it and gonna do something about it? They definitely are not over there looking, or are they? Because it seems right now, if there were some hippos, they would be known. Because everything that we perhaps never thought, well, they said it was going to happen, but we never really thought it was going to happen. And not in our time. The people that we know, we didn't think that they would submit like this. We didn't know lawyers and stuff would just give in and lie and do anything just to weave through. Wow. My. Just like the will, the beast. But ladies and gentlemen, what I've tried to give you a picture of in this post is the kind of things that's happening in this society, the kind of things that's happening in the world. You know, we got the wars and the people killing folks and tearing up cities and towns. They spent forever building them. Now they're being blown down in a matter of a moment. It's all this hurt, all this hate, all this pain. My. But it goes on because that's where we are. It represents the system. It represents our government. It represents everything that we are about. Everything that we are about. When you look at us and this is what you see, this is us. And it involves all of us. We can't point a finger at anybody because where's the hippo? Any hippos? No hippos. So everybody's responsible for this. But I want you to know that this is a representation of the system that we got to get rid of. If we want to something better, we have to change not only who we are, but we have to change the system that represents what change that we make. And I call it a new day, a new system. And I got a post off of that. I hope you would go in, check it out. I think it will serve a beautiful purpose. At least that's what it was done for. And it sure sounds beautiful to me. But let me say one other thing before I close. I think you got what I'm trying to say when it comes down to the evilness of the society, the hatred, the racism, the poverty, the crime, the violence, the war, all that kind of stuff is just evident in the current society. I want you to keep that in mind. I want you to keep it in mind. So when you look at this other post that says a new day, a new system, I want you to compare the two. And the one that you're living right now won't stand a chance. And it's not nothing new to me. I've been talking to you for 40 years, but you haven't heard it because the systems of power has made sure you haven't. And I'm surprised that you're hearing it now as much as you possibly can. One thing I want to leave out with this. You know, when you hear commentators of Republicans on television, they're always talking about the deep state. They're always talking about the others that don't love Donald Trump. And they just trying to bring Donald Trump down. They always try to make it seem like the whole blessed world is all messed up because they don't fall in line with Donald Trump. That's exactly what you're trying to do, ladies and gentlemen. That's what they sound like. You don't love Trump. Because you just hate him. You just hate him. And he's successful in this. He's the best president we ever had. Whatever. And then I'm thinking to these people, you can save that. Everybody knows Donald Trump is a liar. Everybody knows Donald Trump is no good. We know that. And we know you who are supporting Donald Trump are no good either. He's a liar and you are a liar. If you weren't a liar, you wouldn't be working for Donald Trump. Donald Trump fired people that tell the truth. Donald Trump don't want any honest people around him. He wants the most, what was that he going to destroy? The swamp. He was going to drain the swamp. He must have drained it. And he got the worst, I believe. I mean, you got the FBI, you got the Attorney General, you got in every department head, you got, they just showing how much evil, how much ugliness they can show. But now I'm not trying to make them look bad in conjunction with the Democrats, because I'm telling you, it takes the Democrats and the Republicans to get us in this spot right here. Nobody better than the other. It doesn't forget it. We are all in this hell together. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, we can change it and make it right. Make it like a new day, a new system. I want to thank you so very much for giving me this your time. I hope it was worthwhile. It surely was for me. Until next, goodbye.